Hi everyone, so this week we're going to be making a little gift box. I was looking at the British Museum's website over the holidays and I saw these lovely little boxes which are reliquary boxes, and usually they look like little houses. We're not going to make a little house, we're just going to do a simple cube shape, but I just love the way they're decorated. They usually have pictures of saints and things like that on them because they were used to hold the remains of saints and holy things. So I thought we'd have a go at making a small box and decorating it beautifully so that it's become sort of a precious item. To do this, first of all, we're going to have to make a net of a cube, which I know some of you have done in maths and things like that, but we're going to have a go at making our own. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is have a go at making one of these nets. So it's a simple cube. It's quite nice. Have a go at making that first. So you will need a piece of paper. You'll need a pencil. You will eventually need some glue. You'll need a ruler, and you'll need some scissors. To begin with, I'm going to use this as a template for the sides of my cube. Now, obviously, this is a 3D shape. So these faces, each face is a cube, or a square, sorry, which is why I'm using this one. I'm going to start by making a strip, because if you imagine this is like a dice has 6 sides. So you start off, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in a line, and then you've got 2 that go either side of it. And I know that in your maths lessons you will know about how many different ways you can make the net of a cube. There's lots of different ways you can do it. But in this case, I'm going to show you the way I do it, and then it'll probably help you if you want to make your own nets of your own shapes. So I start off, and I have to make a row of these. I'm going to make sure that my row is in the middle of my page, so that it doesn't push off the edges. So I'm going to start off here. In fact, what I'm going to do first is draw a line with my ruler, so I know where I'm going. So there's my first square. Note that I've left some space here as well, because I might need that later. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, to make this easier in my own head, I'm going to put the next one. I'm going to put one on the top here. I'm going to stagger it, or I'm going to put one here actually, so I make sort of a cross shape. So just checking, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's perfect. I've got 6 faces because I've got 6 faces on my 3D box. What I need to do now is add tabs. So the easy thing to add a tab, because I've got these 2 sides, is to put them on the sides of these. So these are my tabs. I'm not worrying too much about them, which is why I'm not using a ruler to draw them, because obviously later I will cut them out. The other thing I need is a flap at the end of the box, so this bit here, so it folds in and will stick it, or I can put it on the outside, but I need something, otherwise this has got nothing to stick to. So I'm going to put a tab on that end, and also, because I need to reinforce around the edges of this, I'm going to put a tab on this end too. So there is my net. That's an easy net to do. So I'm going to now cut this out, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, quick word of advice. When you're cutting with scissors into corners like this, I need to cut this little bit out here. It's much easier to just cut in like so. The other option is when you cut to here and then you have to twist it round. Obviously, if you're twisting it round, it's going to be really difficult and you'll end up ripping and tearing and travelling up your paper. So always cut into the corner with your scissors, like so. You get a much sharper point. The other point as well is when you're using scissors, is try not to cut at this end, because this end is sort of, it's not as controlled. Always try and cut as close as you can to the hinge or the pivot here. This part of your scissors is the best part to be cutting with. The end is a bit more uncontrolled. So, top tip, always cut into a corner. Always use this part of your scissors so it's more controlled. Alright, so there's my net cut out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to do the folds on it so that I know where I'm going with it. So I'm going to put the ruler along the line and I'm going to hold it there, and then I will pull up all of the flaps, all the bits, excuse me, carefully, and I'll just push them up against the ruler. This way it means that your box, when it's folded, will have really sharp, crisp edges to it, which is what you want. And also all those edges are in the right, they're all on the right plane with each other. Nice and simple. So just always remember, ruler on one side, keep the ruler nice and flat and push the paper up. Nice and simple like so. Okay, there we go. My net is nearly ready. It's ready for gluing. What I'm going to do with my net is I'm going to, when I'm ready to glue it, I shall glue these panels, these two to the sides here and here, or these two faces, and then these ones that go in the middle of my box, I'm just going to fold them in and I'm going to glue them down like that, so that they give the top of the box a little bit of strength. So this one, and this one, these ones, the outer ones, are going to just glue them in, and that way it'll make the top of my box, this bit, a little bit stronger, so it won't all wobble. But of course, before I do any gluing, I've got to think about decorating. So if I turn it over, I know that this bit in the middle, this face here, is my base. So I now can decorate that with felt tips if I wanted to. Obviously, if you've made your net, you might want to make a couple of them, have a go at making it first and then decorate it. But yeah, so that's up to you really. It depends on what you want to do and how you want to manage that. One thing I will say is if you are going to decorate it with felt tips, is think about each pane or each face as being a separate panel. So you might want to do patterns on them, you might want to do all sorts of stuff, whatever you want to do on them, and I shall give some ideas in a little bit. But I'm going to, on each one, I want to make sure that I have a border around it. So that will be one side there. My picture will go in the middle, and I'll probably do this in a different colour. Yeah, this obviously is the bottom, so I'm not going to do anything on the bottom. And I'm doing this quickly because obviously I'm just doing a video. You can take your time and make this beautiful. Now you might want to put characters, your favourite characters from cartoon shows, or pictures from stories that you know. You might want to put something from nursery rhymes. You might want to do your favourite gaming characters. It's up to you. A lot of the reliquary boxes have pictures from the and stories about saints or stories from the Bible. I've seen ones with the wise men on it, which is quite apt because obviously the wise men gave gifts, and this is like a little gift box. So as you can see, best to do that before you then glue it together. All right. Another thing you could do if you wanted to is you could collect old wrappers. I particularly like things like this. This was a gift bag that was given to me. Thank you, Arib. And this gift bag, it's got holographic stuff on it, which is really good. So I could cut these out and stick them on and make it all really, really cool and really bright and sparkly. Some things though, a bit plasticky, so they won't stick with the Pritt stick. So try and make sure you've got something with paper on the back, otherwise it won't work. Another good thing as well you can use is things like wrapping paper. Wrapping paper always works well. Yeah, and if you can do your designs on there. So once this is all finished and you've done your designs, and I'll show you some pictures of ones I'm going to do in a little bit, it then gets the gluing. So with the gluing bit, you need to be a little bit careful. Try just to put the glue on the tabs and just do it one tab at a time. There we go. That's one done. Make sure you hold it and pinch it and count to about 3 for each one. Otherwise, there's no point, it won't come in. And also make sure you've got enough glue on each tab. If you're putting the tab on this, support it with your fingers at the back, because otherwise it won't work. And don't be afraid to use a tabletop, because the tabletop is such a flat surface, it will help you with your gluing. Right, so the final piece is these bits. I'm going to put the glue on the back of them. And that way, they'll glue down inside like so. And there we go. There's my little box. I'm sure you will do a much better effort than I have with my colouring in on this one. But yeah, that's your idea. That's my idea. So once all the glue is stuck down properly and everything's ready and it's all finished, take a photograph of it. Send me the photograph. I'd love to see it. I will also include, if you can do that one, I will include a net of this particular one. I'll include it. It should look like this. Looks a bit strange, but you do exactly the same thing. Cut around the edges, fold with a ruler, and then these are for gluing. And obviously, once you do this, you decorate it on the other side, and this side is the inside. Yeah, so all your pencil lines are on the inside. Okay, good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you get up to. Okay, so if you are going to decorate your box, which would be wonderful, this is the time where you need to think about it. If you've made it, you could paint it. That's quite an easy way. But I'm going to decorate this box, but I'm going to do it while it's nice and flat. I'm going to do it on this side because obviously I've cut it out, I've folded it so it's all ready to be stuck together. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to stick my designs on the outside. So I've got this lovely gold papery foil, which is lovely. So I'm going to use some of that. And I'm going to just make a simple checkerboard, like a chessboard kind of pattern on it, which should be quite easy to do. Also, it doesn't rely on up and down because it can be a bit confusing as to thinking which bit is going to be up. So if you do drawings on here, it's okay, but you have to make sure your drawings are the right way up when you put it into a box. So I'm going to cut my piece of paper. Now, to make squares the quick and easy way, and so I have enough of them to do this if I want to make like a mosaic effect, I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm going to fold it in half. It's the cheating method. You know, why? Make it hard for yourself. Fold it in half again. There we go, nice and easy. And now I've got the folds there. I'm going to just cut these all together. I'm not going to go all the way through. I'm going to go to there and try and make them all the same width. That's great. Cut a bit off actually, because that's the other fold. And now I've got my bits. I'm going to make sure I've got a square and I'm going to cut them that way. Look at all those squares I've got rather than having to cut them all individually. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now I've got those, I'm just going to glue them on. Okay, so I'm halfway through. I've got my gold bits there, which are really good. It's going to look beautiful when it's all put together. I can see that already. But just to make it a bit more interesting, I'm going to use some of this blue, because I think blue and gold always look lovely together. So I'm going to do the same thing and then stick them in all these gaps in between and then put it together. As you can see, I've not done the base. That's the bottom. The bit where they cross, that's going to go on the bottom, so we don't need to worry about it. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to get cutting with my next bits. Right, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is glue it together, just like I did before. Okay, there is my little box. I've decorated all the sides. The base is obviously clear, so that's fine. My lid opens up. The inside, although I haven't squished it down, I haven't counted for long enough on these, on the inside tabs. I've got a simple pattern on there, a simple mosaic style pattern using these little squares. If you wanted to, you could use strips. You could use all sorts of things. Sweet wrappers are always great. You could use strips to decorate it instead. You could use bits of old books. You could use all sorts of stuff. It'd be quite nice to put that sort of stuff on it. But I just tried to make a simple pattern to put on the outside to make it look really beautiful. And I'm very pleased with that result. And I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to make.